I'm Claudine Wong, coming to you from the San Francisco Bay Area, and I'm joined now by Billy Malloy from the Shop Salon in Bethesda, Maryland. Billy, thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, Claudine. Thank you for having me on. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, so glad to be able to talk to you. Okay, and we're talking hair. We are talking about our everyday life, and certainly, while we know that there are some really serious issues going on, and when we shelter in place, people say, okay, these are the things you can do without, and certainly we can. But you've been a stylist for how long?
Over 30 years, 32 years.
30 years. And so when we're talking about this, I mean, really, this is something, I mean, your clients, it's not, and I don't want to like overstate it, but I will say getting your hair done, going to the salon, these are habits that people have, patterns that are not only comforting, but these are things that a lot of us don't know how to do ourselves. And I have to tell you that a lot of people, in their everyday, as they're trying to sit at home and they're looking at their hair, or they're getting frustrated, and the loss of these little things and sometimes big things that make us feel better is significant.
hmm
You know,
It's a part of people's routine, and they're so used to it's a lot of times it's moms or dads or whoever that's their only alone time is to come to the
yes,
salon, and they're there for like 2 hours, get their cut, color, whatever, and it's their break, and a lot of salons, I think that's why they do serve wine, because
because they
it's the
know.
only time. Right? It's the only time you get to sit there and you walk out feeling like you're on a runway. It's such a nice people look at it as like a surface aesthetic thing, and it's like, but it's so much more than that. It's a part of your routine.
And really, when we're emotionally trying to stay healthy and deal with this stuff, I imagine that you've had people calling you going, come on, can we just
Well,
do, a little bit, because they need it, they don't know how to do it, and they really want it.
there's a lot of people calling, and they want to help out because they know as like part of our
Yes.
workforce, look, we're not working right now. And
Yep.
we're not the same as like teleworking and all that stuff. So we're at a disadvantage on that end. So they want to help out, which is lovely. But then there's a lot of people calling like, oh, can you just do my roots? I'm like, well, I have gloves and a mask, but especially in Maryland, like we're not supposed to travel right now.
Yes.
We're not supposed to go. They don't consider this essential.
Right.
So I try to talk them through it emotionally. Like I turn, like hairstylist sits over here and therapist picks up over here, you know?
Right. Well, and I think, in terms of, the reality, the economic reality of what you're dealing with, and that's on a very serious note. I'm sure you've talked to a lot of other stylists. I've talked to stylists, and I've been watching people trying to figure out different ways to pay their bills, kind of stay employed, whether it's creating, custom hair kits that they can drop off at a porch or do something like this. I mean, this is really, as this extends, in dozens of states across the country, there is a worry for stylists. You mentioned, massage therapists, anyone who is in this personal care kind of industry that doesn't have, sick days, and you don't have, you're not in a traditional workforce where you can just be like, oh, well,
Yeah.
I'll just take my vacation time.
Yeah, there's no PTO, there's no income. All of us that I know are relying on their savings. There's some emergency loans they can do, but I don't know a lot of, especially younger stylists or single mom stylists that I work with, they don't have the ability to pay that loan back.
Yeah.
It's just you don't want to go into debt because of this situation either.
Right.
So what we've been doing is at the shop salon, like I said, they've been taking gift certificates for your next appointment.
Which is
So
really
we
nice.
still get somewhat of a paycheck. Some of my clients have been Venmoing me their future tips, just for their next stylist. There's an influencer whose hair I do, and she's having me record a segment and paying me to do that. There's also online ways we could, like, if you want to call me or people want to go to my Instagram or whatever, and we can do an online consultation, and then you can tip for that. Like, we're trying to generate income to help us out in this situation. And there's a lot of people in less, and I'm in a pretty okay situation right now, but it's a limited time offer. And
Right. Right.
you know,
Yes.
there's a lot of people don't have the same circumstances. So we're doing everything we can to try to help people with their at-home hair care, but also, if you try to take it into your own hands, just remember you're going to have to pay triple for us to fix it.
And that is good advice. I reached out to my stylist, and I'm like, okay, so I know I can't see you, but can you tell me if you had to buy an over-the-counter brand, if you had to do something, what exactly would you do? And, what would I be doing wrong? And, I mean, because I know that, whatever I'm going to do is not going to be good enough. So I know you have this list of do's and don'ts. Let me see if I can pull up the don'ts first. You see the don'ts there?
Yeah, so that's great.
Stop people from doing the things that they shouldn't do. Like, there are things we can do, but what shouldn't we do?
Okay. So the first thing because it's even on the top of the list, is don't dye it or any chemicals. Don't dye it, don't straighten it, don't do any chemicals yourself at home. We've been trained for this like master's degrees. We've been doing this for years,
Yes.
just remember a lot of the store-bought dyes, the molecules are larger. So it's damaging your hair and it's be harder to remove it. So it will cost you 3 times as much,
Yeah, because
literally,
how many
from
times does someone come in and you're like, oh, you did a box kit yourself? You can tell right away.
every time it's box dyes, it's a little more matte, it has less shine because it over deposits. So you're looking for trouble. And if you think more natural, like the henna based colors, they have a lot of minerals in them that if you put regular dye over them, your hair will literally melt off. So
Oh.
you don't want to mix the two.
So if you're just trying to get your roots done, and you should just get that kit as opposed to as well trying to.
Well, I would say do the semi or semi-permanent, the lighter, less long-lasting colors, because that's not penetrating the hair so much. It won't be as damaging. And there's all sorts of like hair makeup kits. Those like, the root touch-up especially if you're teleworking and on camera like you are, or like anybody else, if you have like a little gray or whatever the problem is, you want to, if you're just your natural colors showing through, you want to like get those kits, the dye, hair makeup kits. It's
Yeah.
powders, it's sprays that will just cover your roots until you can see your stylist.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're looking for temporary solutions here, right? Don't wash it every day. This is something that, I think people love to wash their hair, although now we're sitting around. Maybe we don't need to, but
Well, a lot of my
that's the way
friends called me the other day. They're like, "Hey, I showered today," like it was an accomplishment.
So maybe this won't be as hard of a don't as long as we don't, have to do Zoom calls. Maybe that's the day you do a phone call instead of
Right, right, right.
look at
Well, a lot of my clients, they work out a lot. They want to wash their hair every day, and now, especially now when you're not be able to get conditioning treatments or the chemicals you're used to at the salon. Look, if your hair's dyed, you want some of your natural oils to get through to the ends of your hair. Like you want to have dirty hair for a day or two.
Yeah,
You want to do it every like 3 days. It's like, it's one of those things that it's such a natural way to keep your hair healthy
yeah,
and prolong your color. Like if you have color, it won't fade as much if you don't wash it as much.
yeah.
So
That's
it's
so
just
yeah.
common sense. Don't
It just
wash it
saves
every
you
day.
something. Just saves you something to do that day. All right, and this is a good one. Don't touch the scissors. I mean, I think I was watching someone the other day, like, do not come out of this shelter in place with bangs. Whatever.
One of my favorite things is to do is watch hair disasters on YouTube, because they're just people don't have sharp objects or scissors
Oh,
in your
yes.
bathroom because you're one drink away from like a disaster.
Just
Like a lot of my friends are like, "Is it too early for mimosas?" I'm like, "Not now."
right.
But don't have scissors, don't have them anywhere near the bathroom or a mirror. And, call your stylist. If you need to trim your bangs or whatever it is, call your stylist and have them talk you through it. Don't try to do it yourself.
I know. It's hard
Ever.
though, right? Like I remember having a Barbie when I was a kid, and we cut the hair, and I'm like, cut the hair, and
Oh
then
my God. And I
right,
did the
and
same
then
thing.
Barbie had a bob, and it wasn't an even bob. It wasn't a
No,
looking thing.
Bobby looked like a little homeless girl. Yeah, I know.
But do you find that, I mean, are you expecting when you go back to work that you will have the people who are like, I know I shouldn't have done it, but I did it?
Claudine, it's not an expectation. It's a reality. Two of my clients have already called me and said, "So, what can I do?" And now they have like Betty Page bangs, and I'm like, "Oh, you
Well,
can wait.
you can
By the
wait.
time I see you, they might have grown out."
Yes, we're
But I'm
gonna.
like, video me. I will talk you through it. Do not. That's one of the first things I'm always saying to people. Call your stylist first.
Yes. All right. Here's some do's, if I can pull those up, because maybe we should find the things that we should do, right, instead of the
Yes.
things that we shouldn't do. And conditioning treatments. Hey, I mean, we got time, right? Dump that in
Hello.
your hair and like and sit
One
around.
of the Right. One of the first thing I do is I always put like slather, douse your hair in conditioner, comb it through, not brush, comb it through, and put it up. Let it sit up there for an hour or two. Sleep in it overnight if you want it. Right now, we're in a position you can get your hair super healthy by the next time you see your stylist. Now, don't do it every day, because you don't want to over condition it, because
Yeah.
that might actually not be great for your hair. But if you did it once every other week, like this week, do a conditioning treatment. Let it sit for 2 hours. Sleep in it. But just like that's one thing you can definitely do, and it'll be great for your stylist when you come back, because it won't be as unhealthy or dried out.
Yeah. And play with styles, right? We should be having our hair up and doing something fun,
That's
right? Why not?
See, now there's a lot of styling YouTube videos that I'm going to say do it. Like if you don't know how to curl your hair, like you don't know how to do the beach waves with the flat iron, or you don't know how to get it all in the same, whatever you want to do, like go. That's what I want you to do. Play with styles. Learn how to braid. Watch somebody do an
Mm.
updo. Learn how to put it half up and not look like like you don't know what you're doing. Like just play with it. Like have a great time playing with your hair right now. It's the best time to do it, because if you have kids, you can play with their hair, practice braiding. It's a fun thing to do for, like, if you have people if you have people in your house already, let's say,
Yes.
you just play with each other's hair and just get it, so you're not scared to do it if you have an event.
Yeah, I have seen people do it. You don't have to call the emergency, Billy. Oh my gosh, I
Right.
need you now, right?
There's no 911 hair, like I mean, but I've gotten a lot of those calls,
I
especially when
bet you have. I bet you have. And then, and wear it up and back and give yourself a break, I think is great advice, right?
I
Like,
wrote that too. Yeah, I said wear it up and don't think about it for a day. We have enough going on. Like just pull it.
right.
I did, like, if you saw me yesterday or the day before, my hair is top knot, pulled back, headband. I'm like, I just don't want to think about it while I'm cleaning the house and redoing my closets and
And
whatever I'm doing in the house.
and you
There's
shouldn't
still
have to, right?
Right. Don't think about it. We're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
It's something. It's You can get through the day. Just pull it back.
Pull it back and just not worry about it. Yeah, I
Right,
think
and if you have short hair, put on one of those big the wider headbands. I say cut off the sleeve of a t-shirt and use that as a wide headband, and it'll just
oh,
keep it off your face.
that's fantastic. Yes,
Well,
I
that's
would
what I did when I was growing out my hair. When I was working out, I would do that just to get it all off my face, because it was
because your
annoying.
hair is gorgeous and long and
Thank you, thank you.
beautiful.
Yeah, I take care of it. I do all the things I'm telling you is how I take care of my hair as well.
That's
And
amazing.
always,
Yeah.
and every day, if you're letting your hair, if you when you do hair, take a tiny, 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 like the pinky nail size of conditioner, and just put that in your ends and leave it in to style it.
Hmm. Oh, really? See, all these
Little
tips,
trips
all
and tips.
these tips. Now, for the stylists out there who, when you talk about the new ones and the ones who are, maybe their client book isn't as huge, or maybe they're trying to figure out, maybe this is my time to start a YouTube channel, and maybe this is my time to do online consultations. I mean, what do you see that's working in your industry that would help people? I mean, certainly I think I didn't think about trying to get on a Zoom call with my stylist and saying, Katie, hey, help me put this in correctly. I've watched you do it, but I have no idea how to do it, but I guess
Right,
that,
right. And usually you're watching in a mirror, so you're not even thinking about the angle, because like,
oh
wait a
yeah,
minute. When she does it, it looks so easy, but when I do it, it looks like,
maybe she could do a Zoom, like a group Zoom call, and then we all just Venmo, some money to say, yeah, these are great tips. That would
that's
be
what I was saying.
bad.
That's one of my advice to new stylists is reach out to your clients and say, you know what, get online. Let's do some, like the Venmo thing, because that really, or PayPal, whatever you got, that's been helping me, like, with some people and stuff, and do a YouTube channel. I just did one of me, how I do my own hair. I went through the whole process, the products I use, you know, that's another, like, and I did like the 3 top tips. Do you have
Yeah,
those?
I don't have those, so just take us through them, because I think those were also really good tips. So we'll just
The
tell
first
people.
thing I said is get a water filter for your shower.
Oh, that's
You
so interesting too. Is that expensive, or is that hard to do?
No, 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 no. There's like a little thing. It just extends your shower head about 3 inches, and
Oh.
it's you get them on Amazon. I don't sell them, so I'm not even invested. But but you put those on because everybody has a Brita water filter on their sink, but
Hmm.
or something, or on their kitchen or the house, but they don't have it on the shower. And your hair and skin. Like I'm from New York. When I moved to the DC area, I noticed my skin and hair, everything was a little drier, needed more conditioner, more moisturizer. As soon as I got a water filter, that stopped. And now my hair's shinier and healthier, and it's just because I got the water filter. That, for whatever area you live in, I don't know how great or clean your water is, but that's the
Oh,
best thing you can do for your hair at home.
no,
That's the
that's
first top
interesting.
tip.
I think because people recognize that it doesn't taste good, but they don't necessarily know how it's impacting their hair.
Right, I was in New York City. Like, the water actually tastes good coming from a tap. Moving down here, it wasn't the
Yeah.
same. So,
Yeah.
I was like, not to put the water down here, but it's a different filtration system. So it tasted a little differently. And when I saw my hair, I was like, wait, my hair tends to be healthy and shiny, and it wasn't. And I was like, oh wow, I gotta do something. So as soon as I got that, that was a game changer.
No, it's interesting. Okay. I think you had a couple more tips after that, right? What are your,
Next one is really work with your stylist about
and
what
that's what we were just
products to
talking
use,
about, right? Like
right? But what products to
communicate.
use, because a
Oh,
lot of people have been using the same stuff their mom told them. It was in the shower. It's like it's the what, and I'm like, what do you use at home? Oh, it's a green bottle. Like you need the right stuff for your hair, and your stylist is like, you know, is diagnosing your hair every time they see you. So they actually know what's best for your hair. It's not always about selling products in the salon, because I recommend stuff that our salon doesn't sell half the time.
well, I guess it depends on the person, right? And that's where we're missing if it's just a Zoom calls that you can't touch my hair and say, well, Claudine, you have this
Right.
type, whatever. But for your
Well, that
clients
would
that
be
you
harder, a little
capture,
harder. But I mean, I could look at your hair and kind of think about the type and texture, and I can, if they know what they're doing, they're going to know what
point
they're
in the
doing.
right direction at
Yeah,
a
they're pointing in
minimum,
the right
right?
direction, but having the right products, because we grew up with a lot of stuff, and our parents told us one thing, and somebody says another, and this is right, and you feel like it's what you're used to.
Hmm.
Comfort doesn't mean it's the best. So it's really talk to a stylist or your stylist specifically about what your hair actually needs, and trust them that they're guiding you in the right direction, not just trying to make commission from a sale. Because, like, seriously, a lot of time I outsource. I'm like, no, go over there. This is what I want you to use. This product from this, that product from that. We all have a lot of experience in different areas. We know what works for our clients there. So that's
Oh,
like
that's
one of my
great advice. Yeah,
best ones.
that
And
is.
the last one, the top tip is don't try to cut or do chemicals at home. You know, that's just a future resentment waiting to happen. It's
Yeah.
premeditated resentment. You're, like, it's that,
Yes.
and I said it before, play with different styles, do all these things. Don't try it alone. It's one of those things we've been educated to do this. Don't do it
I
without
know.
guidance. Like, now's not the
Well,
time. If you don't have bangs, don't get bangs.
yes. Stick with what you know. And I think that's good advice too, because really, I mean, if you cut it, you can't ever, it's going to take a long time to grow it. If you just leave it long, maybe it drives you a little crazy, but someone else
But
can,
you can
yeah.
pull it up. You
Yes.
can get it out of your face. You can wear it back. You can play with it, do different things. I'd rather see you come back with like long, straggly hair that needs just a trim than hair that's like, oh, how am I going to blend that in without giving you a mullet? Like,
The mullet is not okay.
no,
Well,
it still hasn't come back. Even if Joe Exotic says so, we don't want it.
yes, I shouldn't say for anyone who loves that style, that's fine. But
Oh, the mullets are
lots of
gorgeous for those
people,
who like them.
for lots of people, that's 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 not what they're going for.
No,
That's just what they
but
end up with.
but if
Yes.
you have the same hairstyle since hair school or since high school, you should probably talk to your stylist.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Communication is key, and I think I don't think there's any fear that people won't want to come back in droves. I
Yeah,
mean, I think it's like anything when we recognize the work that people do and what they're really talented at and what they're really skilled at, and we know when it gets taken away from us, how much
yeah.
how much it really meant to us, in the big picture, right?
Well, it's nice to be appreciated, and it seems my clients have always been really loving and supportive to me, but seeing them like really step up during this time has been really touching. But also to see that how appreciated we are, because people are at home and they're like, I can't get on camera. Like,
Right.
I don't have a glam team here. Like, what am I gonna do?
Oh, I know. My producer called me and she's like, we can talk about it. I'm like, you're going to have to give me a minute.
Yeah.
Because
But you look good. You did a good job.
well, thank you. Thank you. But, it is a brave new world, and we do
Yeah.
appreciate the things, so many little things and so many huge things as we try to shelter in place. And Billy Malloy, I have appreciated this conversation so much, and
Thank
all the
you.
great tips, and certainly been nice to chat about it. And I really do hope that you and all your colleagues, and I think about the two stylists that have saved me time and again, Katie and Paula, who have been my people through the years, and I think about them in these tough times. I mean, it used to be so hard to even get into them, and now I think about texting and keeping in contact and letting them know that they're not alone in this too, because it is a tough time economically
Yeah.
and hair wise.
Yeah, everything. Everyone's in the same position now. So try to
Yes.
have a little patience, and and especially with your hair.
Yes, I will. I will
Yeah,
let
but
it
yours
I
looks
will let it
great today. You did a good job.
Oh, thank you.
I was looking at her, I was like, "Wait, she had somebody stop by."
No, I didn't, but tomorrow's a new day. We'll see how this
Right?
keeps going, right? Tomorrow we'll feel like how we do it is it'll be very interesting. All right, Billy, take care of yourself. And
Thank
for those of
you.
you watching, you can always find more as well on coronavirusnow.com. Thanks for joining us.